Good evening and welcome to the program. First tonight, the international crime cartel with an Adelaide connection. It's been alleged our city has links to a huge money laundering scandal, part of a $30 billion empire which owns the Hilton Hotel in Victoria Square. And while authorities haven't yet acted, there have been calls in State Parliament for a criminal investigation. Hendrik Gout has our report.
That hotel here in Adelaide has been used for money laundering to the extent of $30 million.
It's been an Adelaide icon for 30 years, the five-star Hilton on Victoria Square.
Currently, it is also partly owned by an offshore trust based in the British Virgin Islands.
The Virgin Islands in the tropical Caribbean, as famous as a tax haven as it is for its beaches, and linked to this building, the $50 million Hilton. No one who works at the hotel, management or staff is involved. This issue is in its layers of ownership, linked, astonishingly, through this, the disappearing rainforest of Sarawak. And at the centre, this man, Tab Mahmood. Wealth, tens of billions. Day job, profiteer. Nominal position, former Chief Minister and Governor. The Malaysian state of Sarawak, it's on the equator, northwest of Australia. Here, on the island of Borneo, home to these fellas, the orangutan. And to what ex-British Prime Minister Gordon Brown calls the biggest environmental crime of our time, the logging of Sarawak's rainforests.
I've known for over 20 years that the people of Sarawak have been facing the devastation caused by logging.
And, goes the allegation, the uncountable wealth from that unimaginable international crime ends, in part, right here.
But it's only more recently that I've discovered the link between rainforest logging on the island of Borneo and the city of Adelaide in South Australia.
This money essentially is blood money.
But I had no knowledge whatsoever.
It started here in the 1950s. A young Sarawak student, Tab Mahmood, arrived in Adelaide to study law.
Under what was then known as the Colombo Plan, which was like a scholarship where students from Asia or South Asia were able to come here to study and then go back to help benefit their own countries.
Here's how he eventually helped his own country and himself, so allegedly despicable they've led to international protests in the United States, Canada, Europe. Along the way, he's garnered a family fortune estimated to be worth up to $30 billion, and, claims the Swiss NGO Bruno Mansa Fonds, he has been linked to allegations of corruption, the likes of which the world has seldom seen, culminating in a long-running investigation by Malaysia's Anti-Corruption Commission. But before all that, after uni, he took a job here, the Supreme Court of South Australia.
He was working, gaining experience in a law firm. He did a variety of things amongst the judiciary and in the law.
He married an Adelaide woman at the City Mosque and returned to Sarawak, standing for election, winning and becoming its Chief Minister.
Oh, about 15 years later, I get a phone call from somebody from Malaysia to say that this gentleman was coming to Adelaide for the first time with his family and that he is now the Chief Minister of Sarawak.
Today Tonight has tracked down one of Tahib's former Adelaide University friends, John Kiosolus, at his Adelaide home. He says the Chief Minister asked him to organise a VIP cocktail party and the VIP guests.
Also including his former bosses in the legal profession here, judges that he got on well with and university academics. And this cocktail function took place at the Hilton.
At the time, the Hilton was Adelaide's only five-star hotel, and it was something of a surprise that Tahib Mahmood, then being paid a comparatively modest ministerial salary, had $30 million to buy it.
He then said to me, would you be interested in being a director on the family company for the Hilton? I said, you're a Hilton, an Australian, so that there's an Australian director to comply, he said, with Australian laws, that there is somebody there on the company.
So now, John was a director of Sighthost, the company which owns the Hilton, and while these sorts of international deals are never straightforward, the tens of millions of dollars used to buy the Hilton was almost certainly underwritten by rainforest logging.
But I had no knowledge whatsoever.
The more forest got chopped down, the richer Tahib became, as helpless native villagers lost their forest homes. As this secretly recorded conversation with Tahib relatives shows, there's no compassion.
They are actually squatters on the land, because the land doesn't belong to them, it's a government land. So they're squatting.
Meanwhile, John started hearing rumours.
And that how about in Malaysia? They are the destructors of the forests, which affects the orangutans and the other wildlife and that there.
He flew to Malaysia, where he met with Tahib. And did you raise this with him at the time?
He said, forests have been chopped down, but we have one of the best reforestation programs in the world.
Here's that reforestation program. Sarawak has lost as much as 90% of its original rainforest and is now the world's largest exporter of tropical logs and sawn timber.
He offered me to be taken to go and see for myself. Rightly or wrongly, I said, thank you, that's not necessary. So I didn't do it.
The orangutans, with the lowest birth rate of any land animal, just once every 8 years, sit on a sawdust pile overlooking the export logs. Tourists who come to Borneo to see the rainforest can watch it come to them.
What type of wood is it? Is it from the forest?
Yes.
To be sold to make furniture, or? Wow.
In their place, oil palms, vast plantations of oil palms, as Tahib became one of the world's richest families. One group, posing as investors, were offered virgin land now owned by a company called Ample Angus, owned by Tahib's first cousin.
Ample Angus belongs to my family.
Right.
But my sisters, the 4 elder ones, are in the company.
Yeah.
Of course, it's from the CM's directive, but I can speak to the CM very easily.
Can you?
Yes.
And how did she get this forest?
Do you think he will agree to it?
Yeah. He was the one who gave us that land.
Okay.
Yeah. He's my cousin. So. Yeah.
Of course, owning the land and raising the jungle is without profit unless you have export licenses for the timber. So, another relative explains how to get the export licenses, which are granted by Tahib Mahmood.
It's like, I award you this license. In return, you're grateful to me, maybe say I give you a percentage.
Okay, so he looked for a percentage from the license.
Yes.
Peter Jiban was born in Sarawak.
Most of the radio, the TV belongs to him.
Not only is Tahib Mahmood said to control Sarawak media, there's even his official government documentary where they sing his praises.
We love Tahib Mahmood.
We love Tahib Mahmood.
We love Tahib Mahmood.
We love Tahib Mahmood.
Terima kasih Tahib Mahmood.
So, how much do they love him? When he arrives, they literally roll out the red carpet. Accused by the dispossessed and the landless of living a lavish lifestyle,
What do you mean by lavish?
Well, the Rolls Royce, just perhaps.
My family and myself are doing well. It has nothing to do with exploitation, taking anything out of this country. It's normal business. If you got talents, you got some money, you can really build good business. But you don't have to be corrupt to do this one.
Does he deny the corruption allegations?
Yeah, of course.
Meanwhile, Tahib was splashing money around his alma mater. So much did he donate. In 2008, the university named a courtyard after him right in front of the law school, and it awarded him an honorary doctorate. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Warren Bebbington, refused an interview and would not reveal the extent of the donations, which bought this honour.
There's absolutely no reason at all for the university to respect a man like Taib, who is responsible for so much devastation in Sarawak.
University student Lizzie Taylor has started a Facebook page campaigning to have the court renamed, and protests pressure the uni to do just that.
This money essentially is blood money, so I wouldn't want my degree funded by that.
They've given him an honorary degree, and they've been oblivious to the fact that his wealth appears to have been created through corruption.
Greens MP Mark Parnell raised the matters involving Tahib in Parliament, demanding a criminal investigation, that the university court be renamed and that the money be returned to the people of Sarawak, describing Tahib as a corrupt environmental vandal, called for a freeze of all assets owned by the Tahib family in South Australia, and said we could use the state's Serious and Organised Crime Unexplained Wealth Act.
We just need our law enforcement authorities to get onto the case, do an investigation, and then see if we can't right what has been a terrible wrong to the planet and to the people of Sarawak in particular. The amounts involved are astronomical. Billions of dollars that have come from the destruction of some of the best rainforests on the planet. It's a massive crime, and the government should be taking it very seriously.
Hendrik Gart with that report, but coming up right after the break, credit cards and home loans. We survey the best deals and reveal the handsome incentives.